Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is Broman Clash right here, and today I want to talk about something that majority of you, probably not all of you, have dealt with before, and that's the topic of people who use people. Now, when it comes right down to the topic of people using people, what comes to mind? Bullies, parents, or possibly girlfriend, boyfriend, wherever you are. But people use people, and it gets kind of sad because when it comes right down to it, people don't like to be used. Let's just get that. Let's get that over and done with. People don't like to be used, nor they like to be abused. But yet, some people actually take pleasure in other people's suffering. Sadists, for example. But in some ironic sense, people actually think that people who are used, they should stay like the victim. There's a difference between being used and actually being a masochist. Well, I'm no masochist, nor I'm a sadist, so I'm not down with that shit. But when it comes right down to it, people talk about being used a lot, and I hear about relationships and all that crap, man, from the very same people that say like, "Oh, I'm cold-hearted, I ain't got nothing to worry about." Man, y'all just fooling yourselves, seriously. And it's kind of funny how the way some people actually act, especially when it comes right down to the topic of people using people because they've been used themselves. That's kind of stupid in my opinion because why is that? Why do people use people? Is it because they want to feel satisfaction for themselves? Are they overcompensating for something? Or is it something else? You know what I think? I think it's just the fact that some people are just too much of cowards to even face that demon that roams inside them. Seriously, have anybody ever thought of that? The demon that roams inside them? I know people don't want to talk about that kind of stuff because it's very scary and it's, somewhat taboo. But some of the things that are taboo, you need to venture towards them because you may find yourself in those taboos. Nothing like, don't, not like murder or anything like that. Stay away from that shit. Incest, stay away from that shit. All that crap, man. But you get what I'm trying to say. That some people try to say that if you stick up for yourself, you're a bad person. If you Man, if you try to find yourself, if you try to be yourself, you're nothing more than just a traitor. Man, there's something you gotta look at that in a perspective that's just like, wait a minute, you trying to tell me that I should follow your orders, only your orders, even if they're wrong? I have morals. I'm a free man. I'm gonna say, look at here. I'm gonna talk about something, and I'm gonna talk about it right. And if you don't like it, then shit, you just don't like it. And that's one thing I just hate, especially when it comes right down to people using people. People who use people don't want to be used themselves because they're weak, they're vulnerable, they hate that. And it kind of hits me hard because it's just like, wait a minute, man. So you don't want to use people, but you use them so you can feel secure about yourself. Okay, cool. Instantly, you can take me off because people then try to comfort me. In fact, they help me by not comforting me, and I thank them for that. But it all boils down to conformity and being a maverick. See, people hate being mavericks because they're afraid of getting attacked. And conformists, they'll conform to any fucking thing just so they can feel better. And personally, man, that's a weak way to go. Sure, you may feel protected here and there, but when it comes right down to it, you can't hide in the closet forever. Seriously. And how's this tie in with people using people? Well, when you use people, they're gonna figure out your deepest, darkest secrets, and then once it comes to light, people are just gonna look at you and say, "Oh, I thought you were an angel, but you're nothing but a devil." Just like what Malcolm X said, but albeit not in this context, but he did say this: "I have more respect for a man that lets me know where he stands, even if he's wrong, than a man who appears up as an angel is nothing but a devil." What happened to that? People don't even stick up for their own beliefs anymore. And it's also very funny to the fact that, like, if people are supposed to be people, then people will not have a problem with expressing themselves. But in the end, people are afraid of being themselves because of one reason only, because they're afraid to be ostracized by their peers. They're afraid to be hurt by their own parents. They're afraid to be, shunned by their family members, which is the worst kind of blow I've ever seen in my life, because that's your blood, man. I understand they say blood is thicker than water, but shit, at least water flows and goes into something greater, while blood, on the other hand, flows in one entity. And bad blood and good blood always clash. I know that's a bad analogy. People, respect your parents, please. Respect your family. Respect your friends. Make sure you know who's really for you and who's really just to use you. Because users are the worst things. Are the worst things, and it can stem in politics. It can stem in religion. It can stem in anything, even in history, even in educational, preferences. Like, people try to use people through any type of means, and I can use it in a racial historical perspective, especially when it came right down to slavery. And I understand that I'm talking about race a lot, and that's something that's never going to go away. Whoever thought of that concept originally just thought of it as a concept. Now it's a lifestyle that's integrated. So in essence, you cannot look at me and try to say like I'm wrong and saying like, how does racism tie in with people using people? Well, think about it. You need slaves. You need to use slaves in order to build up in a colony, right? How funny enough that slavery in the mental sense has not disappeared. But then that's also another way of people using people on a grander scale. I mean, before slavery, they were being used by the king and the queen back in England. But, I digress. So, YouTube, this is Broman Clash right here saying, I won at one. And if you want to, you can like, subscribe, comment, share to your heart's content. And wherever it goes, goes. And I hope y'all have a great day today, or a great evening, depending on which part of the world you're in. This is Broman Clash saying, y'all great. Later. And Happy New Year.